Hello, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto Byte. Today is Friday, April 1st. Congratulations on making it through another volatile week in these crypto markets. The last 24 hours in particular have been very volatile. We saw a brief sell-off last night, rebounding a little bit here this morning, so plenty to dive into. But before we get started, CJ, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, Monty. Really critical around that 45 level. So looking forward to getting into that and discussing. Also, Bitcoin miner Prime Block planning to go public with a $1.25 billion SPAC merger. So that's pretty interesting news to discuss. But yeah, a lot of interesting price action. ZIL still pumping along here, testing the highs. A lot of cool assets. But yeah, should be really interesting because, this is the pullback I think many said they'd buy. So we'll see what happens, but excited to break down some of those levels. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing well, CJ, doing well. Also looking forward to breaking down these levels. Like you said, we are, not only at a critical level for Bitcoin, but a lot of other assets as well kind of came down, retested some critical levels before bouncing this morning. So we'll take a look at that and a lot more. But like you said, there were some headlines this morning and last night that were driving price just a bit. So let's start with that because this headline definitely did spook some investors last night. And that was the fact that EU lawmakers set to tighten up on crypto transfers. Essentially, what they want to do is crack down on the use of unhosted wallets. Basically, if you want to custody your own crypto within Europe, they want it so that you have to go through KYC protocols. You have to have your identity attached to these wallets. There should not be, anonymous unhosted wallets is essentially what the EU is asserting and what they are trying to put forward in this bill. Just looking at the Bitcoin charts, that was, a catalyst for some negative price action. Like I said, last night we did, pull back a little bit here. Like CJ said, retest some critical levels. And I do think much of it had to do with a bit of fear associated with this news here, with the fact that, the EU may be cracking down on unhosted wallets. Any thoughts on that news, CJ, and its effect on price?
Short term, definitely potentially the catalyst for a little bit of a pullback here. We were getting a little bit of, overextended nevertheless, but fundamentally for the long term, it would just make things a little bit more difficult for users to do things like DeFi. It would just kind of silo users presumably into more large centralized like third parties, whether they do want to do, some type of interest bearing or earn yield or some respect while they hold their assets with a third-party custodian. So it'll be interesting. A lot of those actual features of the draft or the bill wouldn't take place for another year or so. So it's more of a long-term slowdown as opposed to anything in the immediate. But yeah, let's go to Bitcoin and see some of these critical levels. S&P and NASDAQ are up today a little bit. So kind of providing, the green shade so that, Bitcoin can actually, have some bullish price action here. But, Monty, you had talked about that really critical level at 45K. You look at this from a higher time frame and nearly each time we've met this level, we have some very interesting price action, very violent, rapid price action that occurs off of it. You have rejection off these critical levels, very large move downwards. Then, you have kind of a grind up into resistance and then the final breakout. And now you're starting to see price actually flip this level from previous resistance to new support. So this is the key level that we really need to hold if things are really to remain, bullish in this trend. You wouldn't want to lose this level and see something, say, like this, for instance, where, you lose the 45 level, then you start seeing it as resistance. And then it's like, all right, well, we're just back in no man's land. That's difficult. And a lot of people, it's somewhat true too. When you look at the overall momentum of a macro trend, support levels when you're below the bull market support band are kind of become a meme. Or at least, like the resistance levels are much stronger or have a tendency to be much stronger when you're below this actual channel and the entire trend is going down, as opposed to, say, when we're going up in this trend, then it's more likely to act as support. But we are really testing this level. And there's just a ton of confluence between support at 45. So if there ever were to be a time where support would hold, right now seems like it would be the time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. On the way up, we were talking about how that 45 level kind of marked a breakout level. And, on the way back down, we're kind of seeing that as well. But I think what's particularly interesting about this market right now is the fact that we are establishing a very clear cut range here in terms of Bitcoin's price action, at least in my opinion. So, like you said, CJ, that 45K level had proved to be a critical level of resistance, now proving to be a critical level of support as well. What's very interesting is just the fact that, you know, now that we're above that 45K level, we have a clear next hurdle to get over, being the 200-day moving average at about 48,000. As you can see, when we broke above 45K, look at that. That's a clean breakout, a nice strong candle that carried us up, from 44K all the way up to almost 47K. We climbed a bit higher on the next couple 4-hour candles before getting rejected right at that 200-day moving average, which historically is a very critical level for not only Bitcoin, but any asset that you're trading from on a technical basis. The 200-day moving average is very important. So, now that Bitcoin has reclaimed that critical 45K level, put it underneath us, I think that we have a clear range being established here between 45K and 48K. So, you know, there's a couple different ways you could play that, right? You could try to accumulate with retests at this 45K level. I think right now, could be an ideal time to buy in, given the fact that we're getting these kind of bullish engulfing candles towards the bottom of this, downtrend right at this critical level that has a lot of confluence, like CJ pointed out. And then, you could just sell as we come up to retest the top here. Or alternatively, if you're being a little more patient, just wait for a breakout above this level. This is a highly critical level. I can guarantee you that many technical traders have their eyes on this level and perhaps would be, quick to deploy some sideline capital if we do put this level below us. So I think that we could see a candle similar to this one, what we saw when we broke above that 45K level after, over a month of consolidating below it. And even, when we finally did break above it, it took quite a while. We got that sharp move up, then got rejected at the next hurdle. I think we could, come up and retest this level a few times before breaking above it. But it's nice to have, clear cut technical levels to watch for, support and resistance and possible breakups or breakdowns. So for me, it's clear as day. We got 48K with the 200-day moving average, and then 45K, like CJ pointed out, which has been a highly critical level over the last month, probably the most critical level. So clear-cut range to trade in. Doesn't get much better than this. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Any thoughts on the altcoins here, CJ, as Bitcoin tries to kind of bounce from that 45K level?
The alts have held pretty well, namely Solana. And a lot of those very common resilience alts. You see Near bouncing back a little bit today as well. ETH's obviously been killing it. The ETHBTC pair, you would not have even noticed that we had a pullback. It's actually quite staggering how much stronger ETH has been as opposed to Bitcoin and many of the alts. So definitely not something to be ignored. If we look at the daily chart with ETH here, this is the ETH-BTC pair, but like I said, you wouldn't have even realized we had a pullback yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
It's just been bullish. Yeah.
And one other thing, CJ, if you add the 200-day moving average to that chart there, you'll notice that we are breaking above that level now. And it's very similar to what we saw at the 45K level for Bitcoin, right? Where you get some resistance at that level before finally breaking above it. And it really is kind of a breakout candle here. And I mean, you can see what that's meant historically when we've been above that 200-day moving average for the ETH-BTC pair. But, that is definitely worth noting. And I think, could be a sign here that ETH could be one of the first assets to break above its own 200-day moving average.
Yeah. Well said. Either way, we will definitely be taking a look at many more alts and various support and resistance levels, potential scalp opportunities in some upcoming volatility, perhaps. But thanks, everybody, for watching. Hope you have a great weekend in the world, wherever you're at. If you're looking to learn more about our trading community, as well as our trade insights, as well as a new crypto product we just launched called the Crypto Q, You can check out the link in the description below at marketrebellion.com/try crypto. But yeah, this is our new product. One trade idea per week in a newsletter format, emailed directly to you with live updates throughout the week. But yeah, if you'd like to learn more about that, please go check it out in the link in the description below. And if you like and subscribe, we really appreciate that too. So appreciate it. Monty, yeah, you wanna talk about your traded a little bit?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, if you're already a member of Market Rebellion Crypto, then you'll have access to the crypto queue. But the crypto queue is, like CJ said, it's going to be a daily newsletter, but we will provide weekly trade insights and updates. So, like we talked about, like CJ said, Solana has been particularly strong. This was a trade insight that we published last week, and then we actually had a trade insight that we followed that up with an update here. That will be our first insight for the crypto queue. So definitely going to want to check that out because Solana has been performing tremendously well. But as you can see, we tell you how to set up the trade. Wait for a break above 120 or, wait for it to come back and retest as support. You got multiple occasions to do that here, multiple different times you could have entered this trade. And now, just looking at Solana, it is, trading up here today at around its all-time high. So, that's what we want to do is just provide you guys. Oh, look at that, 130 for Solana, really, really strong. So, that's what we want to do is just provide you guys with some updates. More than just your average trade insight. We want to, tell you guys what we're watching. Also, provide you guys with some interesting charts and just the headlines that we think could be driving the market as well. So, all of that will be available if you're already a member. If not, you can check it out at marketrebellion.com/try crypto. But I think that's all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. But have a great rest of your day. Have an awesome weekend. We'll see you guys again on Monday.